My name is Leonard Pickel. I'm editor of Haunted Attraction magazine and curator, I guess, of the new museum on Lizzie Borden, which is the true story of Lizzie Borden Gift Shop and Museum. It's going to be in Salem, Massachusetts, opening very soon, I hope.
Why'd you pick Salem?
My background is actual doing October seasonal haunted houses for people around the country, and we had done a haunted house in Salem and realized that that's great, does very well in October, but between the times, people are there looking for history. They're looking for, they're looking at architecture, they're looking at tall ships, and then of course they're looking for the witch hysteria that took place during that time period. Back in 1992, I was living in Dallas, Texas, and there was an article in the paper by Bernie Sullivan talking about how the 100-year anniversary of the murders had just taken place. At that time, the murder house was a print shop, and Maplecroft was in private hands, so there really wasn't anything for the people to see other than the gravesite. And I thought, this would be a great opportunity to do something in Fall River with some kind of a museum about Lizzie Borden or maybe even a haunted house at that time, I was thinking. So that's kind of been boiling around in the back of my head since that time. The Borden Museum in Salem would be the perfect choice. I mean, people there by the thousands looking for kind of the darker side of history, and it's also very female-based because people that are looking at witches is kind of a female genre. So the Lizzie Borden it was just a no-brainer, we thought, and it was really kind of funny because for years we've been calling this Project X because we've been afraid that someone would come up with the idea. We were shocked that no one had come up with the idea before us.
Do you think it's going to increase information, people interested in the case, and perhaps bring people down to Fall River?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to make sure that everyone that goes to the museum knows exactly where the murders happened. It did not happen in Salem, but that it happened, an hour and a half south, and that the murder house is now a bed and breakfast. It gives opportunity to people to tour the house as well as spend the night. And Fall River Historical Society has a nice little display of probably the most extensive amount of artifacts and that kind of stuff that's down here. So. And I think we're going to be able to pull a lot of people that didn't even realize that the Lizzie Borden murders happened in Massachusetts, and send them down to Fall River to look at more and find and look at where it really happened. I mean, we're a museum. It could be almost a traveling exhibit kind of thing that could go anywhere. And the reason we chose Salem is because just of the massive tourism that's already there. And for many years we've been looking for the perfect location. Because the location is very important in Salem, and the funding too to put the two together, and that all kind of fell together really very quickly at the end of last year, and we were able to get started.
Are you finding that people are stopping by and asking questions and wondering what's going on with your business there in Salem?
We get two reactions. We get reactions from the other merchants in the area that they're excited about another museum that's not witch related, because there's so many witch related things there that just regurgitate the same old facts over and over and over again, to give them something new and different and fresh, and give people a break from the witchcraft thing. It is Massachusetts history, so it does fit nicely within the state.
What are your plans for the inside? I mean, do you have ideas about how it's going to be laid out and what you're going to include?
We do. The first section is going to be, Fall River in 1892, to give people a feel for, what life was like back there. I mean, there was child labor working in the mills, and there wasn't like there was a cell phone. When Lizzie discovered the murder, she couldn't, jump on her cell phone and call the police. She had to tell somebody to go and run and find somebody to tell. So. Letting people know what it was like to live during that time period, during the Victorian age, is going to be a kind of set the stage for what happened. The next section is kind of the actors in the play. We're going to go through each one of the key people that were living in the house at the time of the murder, or staying in the case of the uncle, and tell everybody kind of their background and their stories and who they were. And then one of the key players in the play, in my opinion, is the house, because the house is kind of strange. It was originally built as a two-story or two-family house, and that they converted it to make it a one-family residence, and doors that were locked or even nailed shut in some cases, and things that were oddities of the house that kind of help fit in as part of what could have happened and what could have happened, where a murderer could have hidden, and where they couldn't have hidden during the days of the murder.
Are you going to solve the crime?
I don't think anybody can solve the crime. I mean, I don't think that anybody really had the motive and the opportunity other than Lizzie, but no one will. But she was acquitted, so we really can't say that she did, and no one will ever know who really did it. But we are going to do a section that takes modern forensics and looks at the crime and tries to see what we can divulge or see what we can find out from the evidence that was provided, to utilize modern science and see if we can get closer. My favorite question was a guy that came by just the other day and came in and said, "So what does Lizzie have to do with Fall River? Shouldn't it be with Salem? Shouldn't it be in New Bedford?" I was just like, "Why would it be in New Bedford?" He said, "Well, that's where the murders took place." Which proved my point exactly. The reason it needs to be in Salem is so this guy can learn that it didn't happen in Bedford. It happened in Fall River. So he answered his own question. My pat answer is that, well, you guys just put a statue of Elizabeth Montgomery down the road, a bewitched statue down the road, and she played Lizzie in the first TV movie. So that's our reason for being here.
The location of your museum is directly down the way from that statue, right?
It is. It's what, as I said, we had a haunted house there several years ago, and that part of town, the place where the museum is at, is known to the locals as the heart of Salem. That is really, it's the walking mall on Essex, and it really is where everybody that comes to Salem, Massachusetts, walks down that street. So it has the most exposure, and it's going to give us the opportunity to tell the story, to tell Lizzie's story, to the most amount of people than you can do anywhere else in the country. So, and that's why we're there.
And your magazine that you publish, it's called?
My magazine's called Haunted Attraction Magazine. It's a kind of a trade publication for the haunted house and for the Halloween industries. It goes to people that own haunted houses as well as people that decorate their yards and build their own props.
You mean own real haunted houses or attraction haunted houses?
October seasonal haunted houses. So
Okay.
right, yeah, fake haunted houses.
But not the real
We
ones.
make our own ghosts.
What other attractions are you involved in? Any haunted
kinda-
mansions or haunted houses?
We've done stuff for Universal Studios many years ago. We did Madison Square Garden the first year that they did a Halloween event. We did their show for them. So we've done some fairly famous stuff. But the magazine and the convention and now the museum has really taken the majority of my time trying to get this thing open so we can be ready for at least part of the summer season and for Halloween.
How about waxed figures? Are you planning any waxed figures in your Lizzie museum?
No, this is pure museum. It's pictures and text and some artifacts. It really is not going to resemble a haunted house in any way, shape, or form.
So it's not going to be like the Witch Museum where they have all the...
No, it's going to be more like the Peabody. It's going to be something that is truly a museum. We're there to be educational and to let everybody know what happened and what we know and what we don't know, and not make any conjecture or make any supposition or put forth even any rumors or ways of it might have happened. It's all up to.
About lecture series, you're planning anything for the future, or are you just going for the opening now to see how it takes off and where it goes from there?
We would love to do an area where we can do book signings for new books that come out, and to actually bring in some authors and some people to do a lecture series. We're a little bit tight on room. We'll have to see whether that's actually going to work for us, but that was in our original business plan to be able to to bring locals as well as even people from Fall River up for a nice evening with wine and cheese and to do a nice get a lecture from the Lizzie experts that are out there. Again, just to further the education and to let everybody know that there's a big world out there, and there are a lot of people that love Lizzie, and there should be an opportunity for all of us to get together and share stories and feel like we're part of a family, because we really are.
What's the address of the building, the physical building?
The building is, we're calling it 203 Essex in Salem, Massachusetts. The zip code is 01970.
And the web address and the telephone number, if you want to pass that on?
The web address is lizziebordenmuseum.com, and the phone number is 866-LIZZIE-B.
Excellent. Thank you.